everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Today I wanted to talk about something that is probably causing everyone in this world, not only myself, some unnecessary anxiety. I want to talk today about COVID-19 or the coronavirus in regards to your mental health. Not the generic population, but those affected by mental illnesses before this whole thing started to blow up. Like I say in every video, I am gonna preface this with, I am not a doctor. I do not have a license to practice medicine. These are just my own thoughts. Please go check it before you try anything out with your doctor or your psychiatrist or your therapist. Be safe. Just be safe before we get into this. Next step, you know, easy, simple. Wash your hands. Don't touch this. And practice social distancing. I want to talk about things that may be causing people more anxiety, and I want to kind of give ideas and thoughts behind those, and maybe some tips and tricks to help you guys out with this cluster of annoyance, really. Let's talk about what is causing a lot of the anxiety for a lot of people. The first thing is medical uncertainty. You don't know exactly what is going to happen. A lot of the information that is coming out is constantly changing. Who is dying from this? Where is it at? How many people are dying? Is it like the flu? Is it not like the flu? I'm not going to spout too much information like statistics here because it is constantly changing almost every hour. What we kind of do know, as I'm not going to share information, what we kind of do know is that the people that are getting most affected by this are people that are of older generational ages and people with suppressed immunities. Because of course it is a virus, it is something that can make you sick. People who have suppressed immune systems are, of course, are gonna get hit hardest. So medical uncertainty has to deal a lot with hypochondria and constantly thinking that you might have it. Definitely understand that. Now that I'm on better medication, I am dealing with my hypochondria way better. But it is the medical uncertainty of A, am I carrying it? B, am I sick currently? And C, am I gonna give it to someone else? The other thing that's causing anxiety for people is the unfamiliarity, just not knowing. You are getting spouted at by so many different news sources, Facebook, Twitter, MSN, Fox News. You do not know who to believe. And knowing me, and anxiety, and what do? We overthink things, because that's what anxiety does, is it makes you worry and it makes you overthink things. And so when you're getting all this information bounded at you from so many places, you don't know truly what to think. You truly don't know what is your own thoughts. You don't know who to trust. I know specifically for me, I like things to be in my control. I really do, and there's only so much that I can do in this whole thing that are under my control, like making sure my hands are washed, making sure I do practice that social isolation, you know, not going out to unnecessary things. I went to work yesterday, and I think that's the only thing I'm ever going to do this week, is just go make sure that I go to my job that I still have but might not here because this whole social isolation thing, but we will get to that in a minute. There are things that I can control, and I am holding on to those, like the cleanliness of this house and making my YouTube videos as stress relief and crafting. And a lot of people are stressing out about the social isolation. I get it. I feel like there are two types of people. You know, there are introverts and extroverts, but that also goes with anxiety. And a lot of people are taking like the social isolation. If you have social anxiety, this is great for you. But for someone who is very much an introvert and likes to hang out with her friends, it can suck. It can truly suck, especially those people who work from offices who are required to work from home now. And just being alone and being with those, again, being with your thoughts. It's not a great thing for this little brain up in here, but it does. Social isolation sucks, and it's causing people to, for those people like me who were servers, these people are staying home and they're not going out as much. Except for to hoard toilet paper. Why? This is a respiratory issue, people. I don't get it. Unless you're like, oh, I have to social isolate myself and I can't go outside, so I need all the toilet paper in the world. With all those people not going outdoors and doing their regular activities, like going out for dinners or to the movies or a multitude along those lines, these businesses aren't getting the patronage and the money enough to stay open. A couple of days ago, I read an article from the Seattle Times that 50 Seattle restaurants had to close. And I live super close to there, and it's very scary to think that there is a potential of me losing my job. There's how is this gonna affect me and my life and my anxiety? So there are a bunch of things to be like just scared about. If all of this is making you feel stressed out and anxious, you are far from alone. There is an entire community behind you. But I will say worry is not going to stop anyone from contracting the coronavirus. And I want to share some tips that I have found very helpful this past week. And now that basically the entire state of Washington has shut down until April 24th, let me share with you the tips. My first one, this is a big tip, you guys. And I know I'm gonna have so hard of a time doing this because your girl loves the Instagram, but is to stay away from social media. If you can, if that is something that you can do, like a break from social media, any news articles, Twitter. Instagram's not as bad as I've seen, but Facebook and Twitter are really bad right now. I'm using Instagram mostly for cat pictures and like watching fun videos. But yeah, it does not help to see all of these, like I said before, see all of these things coming from different news outlets and you don't know what is true or not. Stay away from the social media. And if you have to go find out information, go to the CDC's website. Go to the World Health Organization's website. Go to your state government's website. Basically, those top 3 are the ones that are going to have the most accurate information for you at the time being. I am trying to avoid like Facebook, Twitter, MSN, like all these like news outlets that might not necessarily have the most up-to-date information or might be spreading fake news. Loved ones. This is really hard for me, and I'm going to be real deep and honest here. The people that are getting affected the most are elderly and people with suppressed immune systems. Like your girl, who has asthma and is that's how much I hate it, is pre-diabetic. Both my parents are severely immunosuppressed, and so is my little sister. These are the people that I worry about the most, and it is causing me a lot of anxiety to be so far away. But the cool thing is, in the day of technology that we are in, we have things like FaceTime and text messages and phone calls. We can stay up to date with our loved ones so quickly. It's amazing. And yes, I mean, you should probably sanitize your phone because, lo and behold, those things are disgusting. But that's probably going to cause someone anxiety. There are ways for you to keep in contact with your loved ones. Practice that social isolation for right now, just to keep yourself and everybody else safe. And speaking of, and we're gonna keep talking about it until we're told otherwise, is self-isolation. Social distancing. Making sure you are at least 6 feet away from people at all times. Being alone sucks. We all know this. But there are ways to combat this. I bet a good majority of you, like myself, have a plethora of books that they should probably read, but they keep buying more books anyway without reading the ones that they already have. Anybody else do that? No, just me as I touch my face another time. Is there a show you wanted to watch on Netflix? Now is the perfect time. If you are working from home, and usually I know that I get a lot of work done by myself on my own time, opposed to in a situation that is like a workplace environment, you have all this spare time. There are multiple shows that you could watch and binge. Plus Frozen 2 just hit Disney Plus, so you might as well just like, you know, into the unknown. You can pick up some of those craft projects that you've been trying to do. Crafting for me is such a huge stress relief, and it's really helping me a lot with dealing with all of this. Another good thing is actually take the time to do spring cleaning. That is what I am doing. I'm actually going through all of my things, seeing what I haven't worn in 6 months, what I haven't touched, if I'm actually gonna read those books, and seeing what I can donate to Goodwill or sell to try and cover the costs of me potentially losing my job. And then sanitizing everything, because that's what we do. The other big thing is, I know I've been doing this throughout the entire video, don't touch your face. There are other things that you can do to avoid touching your face, because every time I touched my face in this video, I'm just like, doing those like spring cleaning or starting a new habit, so like picking up knitting or doing puzzles, really focus your hands on something different than touching these and touching this and The other thing is, you know, fidget spinners. I've read one where someplace people have been putting their band-aids on their fingers so that it's like a reminder, like, oh, you don't touch the band-aid. Basically my second parents have talked about how he wears white gloves everywhere, and he doesn't want to soil the white gloves with face sweat, and that's how he avoids touching his face, is by wearing those like pristine white gloves that he doesn't want to get dirty. And I was like, that is amazing. That is a great idea. And they don't have to be like the disposable gloves. Get yourself a nice pair of white gloves that you can consistently wash. Just remember those anxiety techniques that we have talked about in the past. My favorite, grounding. The steps 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Things you can see, hear, taste, smell. Deep breathing. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. I do the 4 count. Some people do like a 4-7 count. Depends on the person. Use those distractions to help you avoid those anxieties. Read those books, clean the house. If it's warm enough and you want to go outside in your own yard, pick up gardening. Use those distractions. I'm not one for meditation. It's never really worked for me, but if it works for you, please do so. I would love for it to work for me, but they have those apps. There's a ton of guided meditations on YouTube. If that helps you recenter and get your deep breathing and your focus back on something that isn't causing you worry, that is great. I've been using a lot of self-talk, which is something my therapist recently talked to me about. She referenced it as, imagine yourself on the highest peak that you've ever been on, or the highest elevation you've ever been on, where you can look over. And so I imagine myself at a place called Sleeve League. It's in Ireland. I studied abroad there in college, and it is one of the highest marine cliffs in, I think, that side of the world. And I actually have this excellent visualization of me looking over at this gorgeous, like, I don't know how many feet drop to crashing waves below. Self-talk basically is, you take a step back and say, I'm doing everything I can to make myself safe in this situation. Take another step back from the edge. My family are currently healthy, and I'm helping them by staying away. Take another step back. I'm having all this free time now to do things I enjoy. So it's that self-talking yourself back from a very scary situation. And I've been using that a lot recently, and it has definitely been helping. The last thing I want to share is acceptance. We've tried as a society, as a country, as a world to slow the spread of this, but it is inevitable. This is happening, and there's not a whole lot that we can do about it besides take care of yourself and the ones that are closest to you, so like the people who live in your house. At least I know for Washington State, basically the entire state is shut down until April 24th. All schools have been let out. Just have fun with your kids while they're there, because they don't know what exactly is going on. It's hard to explain to a child how this might affect them. So just enjoy the time that you have with your kids. Enjoy the time that you have with the people that are around you. Accept that you can only do as much as you can on your own personal level, keeping yourself safe. You can wash those hands, you don't touch your face, practice your social distancing. We don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring, so take this day by day. Know that I am sending you so many good brain vibes, and I know this is a rough time for everyone, including myself. We can get through this together. Know that my DMs on Instagram are always open to discuss anything you might have. I try to reach back out to everybody. If you guys leave comments down below, I try to reach out to everybody. And I wish you guys the best of luck. So please let me know in those comments down below if you have any other tips or tricks about how people might be able to help with their mental health. Please, I feel weird asking for a subscribe at this point. If you feel like you want to, go ahead. But I just want to make sure that I gave you guys some information that might help you. And if you feel like you want to, go ahead. But this is for you guys today. Share this video if you think that it might help someone else who is suffering during this time. Because the more we talk about it, the more the stigma breaks. And the more that we don't panic during this time. And until next time, guys. Sláinte and stay healthy.
Hi everybody, this is just a little later in the day, but I wanted to add to this and trying to practice what I preach. So as of like a half an hour ago, the governor of Washington State has shut down all dine-in food establishments, including bars and breweries. And so I basically have lost my job for the time being. I am very much using what I talked about earlier to try and not have a panic attack, basically. So we all just have to stick with this together and not let our anxiety get the worst of us, because this will all blow over soon.